Look at this beauty. So we're all sort of getting back to normal after Meat Fest, which we had so much fun at. I think everybody had a ton of fun, and we just had a meeting, just kind of a debrief. Like, did we really do that? Like, we had that many people out and it went off without a hitch? Like, the only complaint that anyone has was it was hot. And that was our complaint too. It was hot. Luckily we have a river. So like when people got too hot, they just went and chilled in the river and drank beers in the river. So it was so good. But, big but, Chud had some mean things to say about my barbecue pit.
This episode is sponsored by SimpliSafe. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Summertime means more people are out of their homes out doing stuff. Did you know, according to FBI crime data, most break-ins occur in broad daylight, and there's a spike during the summer months when criminals know that people are away from their homes more. Putting my day-to-day life on YouTube obviously comes with some pretty cool perks, but there are some negative side effects. SimpliSafe is there to help keep my home and office safe while I'm away and put my mind at ease. Starting at less than $1 per day, their monitoring plans have no hidden fees and no long-term contract. They ship the system directly to your door, and it's super easy to install yourself, or you can opt for professional installation. SimpliSafe is completely customizable. I was able to pick and choose exactly what devices I needed here at the HQ, and you can rest assured that I have cameras everywhere for maximum safety. Like here, and here, and here, and here. And I can check in on the app anytime right here on my phone. SimpliSafe wants to protect you and the ones you love, and their new 24/7 LiveGuard protection will make you feel even more secure. It's a feature of their Fast Protect monitoring plan, and it's powered by their Smart Alarm wireless indoor security camera. This sleek, lightweight camera integrates seamlessly into your SimpliSafe system. The Smart Alarm indoor camera is the only indoor camera that can trigger the alarm and blare a built-in siren to instantly deter intruders. With their eyes on the scene within 5 seconds of receiving a signal, SimpliSafe agents will confirm the threat or emergency and give critical details to 911, getting help on the way fast. The Fast Protect monitoring plan is exclusive to SimpliSafe and gives professional monitoring agents the ability to see and even speak to intruders in real time, stopping them in their tracks and protecting the ones you love and helping you feel even more secure. Save 20% off your SimpliSafe security system when you sign up for a Fast Protect monitoring plan and get your first month free. Visit simplisafe.com/Matt Carricker to customize yours. And remember, there's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Since we're working on a barbecue pit today, should I wear a Mad Scientist barbecue shirt or a Chud's barbecue shirt? I will destroy a gray shirt today. It is so hot. I'm gonna also destroy this one, but I'll look a little less ridiculous than that shirt. Cool. All right, this shirt is gonna be soaked in sweat in 2 minutes time. Back to the mean stuff that Chud said about my barbecue smoker over here. He, that big jerk, said what I also had thought about this, but I wasn't sure if it was just me. My problem was it was hard to keep this thing hot in the right range for smoking. We have a thermometer here. You want it to be around the 250 mark. And if I left it for not very long, it just dropped back down to like the 210 area, which is not good enough for smoking. So I thought maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not tending it enough. But he said the same thing. He said, man, this thing's hard to keep hot. Otherwise, he thought it was good, like especially for a backyard build, which a lot of these are. But for a backyard build, it could have been a lot worse. So the guy that I randomly found on Facebook Marketplace, who I bought this from, he did a pretty good job making this thing. It was not his business. He said this was his third one to ever make. So pretty good. So I asked him, how can we make this thing stay a little hotter? So I texted Brad and Jeremy, and they were really pumped that I wanted to work on my grill. They sent me pictures and videos and all kinds of stuff. These guys were like, yeah, Matt, get into smoking like us. And so they sent me tons of information on how I can make this thing better. Even me not knowing anything, I thought that looks weird, that little connection. That's the only way that heat can travel into the cook chamber. But what do I know? I'm a noob. I just thought I haven't ever seen that before. Chud said, yeah. See how that one is like, they're inside each other? That is gonna make for a much better way to transfer heat. Now I asked him, what does the inside look like? Is that wide open? Or is there a baffle plate? Or is there a small hole? So he sent me this picture of the inside. So you can see it's not wide open. They do go into each other, but it is closed up. And there's just that one little area where the actual hot air can come through. So the plan is to notch out the bottom of this and drop this thing down and have it overlapping just a little bit. which will be fine. Dropping it down will make it to where it's more likely to hit stuff back here, but if we're also sucking it in this way, it's gonna have the exact same angle right here. And this thing's already, it's pretty high off the ground, so I don't think we're gonna scrape anything, but it'll also make my trailer a little shorter, which will be nice as well. Just boop, perfect. Another way to make this thing get up to temperature faster and hold temperature better is an insulated firebox. Now, this one is not insulated, so every piece of steel around it is just a thin piece of steel like this. So this is a single piece, that's a single piece, that's a single piece. So when you're standing over here, there's so much heat radiating off this because it's a single piece of steel with a really big fire inside of it. So you're losing a ton of heat all around the firebox. Also, this grate right here is completely useless because of that. I didn't realize that. The first time I ever smoked, I lit the fire and I set my lighter right here. It's 4 in the morning and I'm over here getting something ready, and 10 minutes later, it's pitch black and it goes boom. The lighter explodes because it was just near. It wasn't even touching. It was a couple inches away. It was just near it and it got hot enough and exploded. It scared me bad. So you can't put anything on here. Any rubber plastic thing will just start melting because this is so freaking hot. And I also come over here and I stand here while I cook my breakfast in the morning or whatever we're gonna cook on that cooktop. And it is like, my legs are on fire down here. So I asked them, I was like, what about insulating? And they were like, no, you wouldn't want an insulated firebox on this because you need some of that heat to dissipate so that your fire does not burn super efficiently, so you still get some smoke going through there. And I was like, oh, dang. And I told them about my problem. They were like, well, you could do a partially insulated firebox. And I was like, say more. And they were like, yeah, put a plate there, and even put a little V here. The V will help all of your wood and coals go to a central location, so it's really easy to light whenever you throw another log in there. And so that will make the bottom insulated, these two sides insulated, but this side is not. That side, well, the bottom of it will be open and not, and then the top is not. That is enough to make your fire inefficient enough to still have plenty of smoke. So the goal here, fix our firebox problems. And I think this smoker will be much better. What a mess. That actually was really hard because I couldn't hit this from the outside because it was the freaking boxes right here, so I had to go up in there and do it all from the inside, and couldn't tell what was still holding on, but I plasma cut and grinder wheeled enough that I finally got it all to come apart. I'm gonna take this off, clean that thing up. I won't need that anymore because now we are going to sink this box in here. So I need to actually figure out how much of it needs to be in there. And then basically the plan would be to just cut it, like notch it out like that. And then that box will just fit right up in there. I was actually just talking with Jeremy Moore. This is interesting. He connected me with his buddy Frank from smokerbuilder.com, who actually makes plans for smokers. So he actually kind of gave me some that are similar and sent me plans for him. And in his email, he said, for the dimensions of my tank, I should have a throat size of 136 square inches. This is the throat. It's the amount of open area for the actual heat to pass into your smoker. How big is my throat? It should be 136 square inches. Let's calculate. 11 by 5. Mine is 55 square inches. It needs to be over twice as big. Like a lot bigger, which will be good, because that's what we're doing today. So that does answer our question as to why does this thing take a long time to heat up, and then why is it so hard to keep hot? But then also this thing was spaced off, and there was a gap in between it, and we can put it up in there, and then this will be covered by tank, so that'll actually be in the tank. This will be in the tank. Those will be heating up the tank as well, and not just heating up the outside. We were losing tons of heat there. Now we'll be losing it straight into the tank. So bigger opening, and put that box in here should heat this thing up much better. We can run a lot less logs in there. Won't have to run this thing as hot. Also, if I insulate it too, this just might be the most perfect grill ever. But I don't know. Let's put it together and we'll test her out. I was trying to figure out how I was gonna put my line on there to know where to cut and how much of this firebox I'm going to put in there. So to do that, I actually just cut me a piece of cardboard right here to sort of match the curvature of that, right? A little bit above midline of that tank. And then I put it on here, and I think my plan is to put it right about there. With just that much. That'll be the edge of the tank right there. Just that much will be in there. And so it'll be welded along the sides here, along the top there. I'm gonna take off the square tubing at the top. The smoker cook chamber will probably come to right about there. And so, which is good because grease will form here. You don't want the grease to go back and dump into there because then you get a big fire. But grease will stay here. And then I think I'll probably extend this a little wider on both sides and then a little taller. So I'll have that bigger throat, try to get the better area that we need there. Chopped it out, looks like a Pac-Man now. So I was using this plasma cutter. That's a cool tool. This is actually the first time I ever used a plasma cutter, and pretty awesome. I'm not very good at it, but also it's just hard with the kind of angles. I winged it with my measuring and my drawing a line because I couldn't figure out, without a laser, which I don't have, I couldn't figure out a good way to do it straight. So I just kind of eyeballed it basically, and I tried to kind of cut conservatively so I can push this up in there, and if it needs to go more, then we can cut more. But let me go ahead right now and push this thing up close so we can kind of get a look at it and see. Dang, look at that. A little different. Cool. So it's gonna eventually be pushed up further in here. I can't do it because of these two angle irons just in the way right now. But this whole thing, once I chop those to the right size, will shift over and in, and I think I actually measured the top part was the only part I was worried about, because if I cut that too wide, then there's gonna be a gap like that I would have to fill. But you can see this one's hanging over the side, so once I move those things, I can shift it all over, and it's gonna be really close. I was going to put like a plate down there to keep grease from running back, but I didn't cut it all the way in, so the end of that tank already starts going up to right here, so no grease is gonna flow in there. Actually though, realize that, oh no, there's a grease drain. The grease drain right there, perfect. So the grease will come down here. Some of it could splash in there and it'll light on fire, no big deal, but you won't ever have a bunch running in and dumping in there and making a mess. And it doesn't get in the way of my grate, so I can still put stuff over there. It's gonna be extra hot over that. We'll put a deflector shield down there as well. This is gonna be so much better. Most likely, based on my research and my very limited 3 times using this smoker and realizing the things it already needs. And then, you know, some expertise from experts as well. They gave me some good advice. So I'm gonna heat that and try to make it better. All right, I'm gonna end the day. All right, I'm gonna come back tomorrow to finish this though, because it is getting late in the day and I don't want to stay up all night welding. So I'll see you guys back here bright and early. Whoosh. I got a package from Bill Hannon. He sent me a flag in this box here, and you can see a picture of this flag hanging in a airplane. This is a KC-135. And a note says, Matt, I recently returned from deployment in the Middle East. During my deployment, my crew and I flew this flag on a KC-135 tanker during a combat sortie refueling F-15E Strike Eagles carrying out combat missions in the area. I flew this flag in honor of you and Demolition Ranch. Thanks for making fun and entertaining videos on YouTube. I always enjoy watching them, but they definitely help on deployment when you're away from home. Hope you enjoy this small token of appreciation. Stay safe and long live the Demolitia, Bill Hannon. Bill Hannon out of Utah. Thank you, man. This is freaking epic. So this thing was flying in a KC-135 overseas. We actually do not have a flag up. We have like a flag sign, but I don't actually have an American flag in here. So we need to find a good place to hang this. Yeah. All right, Bill, we're gonna hang this flag up somewhere in here. I appreciate you. And a bit of bad news, it's actually not really news to us. We just forgot to tell y'all. The little lamb that we had a few weeks ago, it did pass away just a few days after we made that video. It just never really got better, and it finally just faded away. We just got busy with the event, and people keep asking, how's the lamb doing? And I just need to tell you guys, yeah, it didn't make it. When those things get to that level, where they're just so dehydrated and they just cannot get their hydration back, it's just hard to bring them back. So unfortunately, little Lammy didn't make it. But we're back here. I actually came up last night, wasn't filming, just to get this all a lot flatter. I spent a lot of time grinding this all down so this thing would fit up in there, but that's how it's gonna fit basically. It's not welded or anything, it's just stuffed in there and it's kind of in place. I'm actually gonna sink it in a little more though, because I was using that plasma cutter and it was at a weird upside down angle. You can see how jagged that is right there. So that puts a huge gap. Well, I mean, this will be filled in. I need to put a plate there, but that, you can see that big jagged cut there. I was upside down freehanding it and it was just a tight space. I was like, I don't know, maybe it's straight. So I need to make that a little straighter. To do that, I think I'm actually going to sink this in there a little more. So I could either fill it right now and just fill it, like put a plate there, but it's gonna look weird. So I'm just gonna cut down and make a straight edge. Now that I can get in there, I'll be able to make a straight edge much easier. And that'll also sink the box in probably another inch. So it'll actually go inside this tank about an inch, which is fine. There's plenty of room here to play with. And I think it'll actually make it work a lot better too if it's sucked in a little bit tighter. I also don't think it's totally level, so I need to level it a little better. I wanna make it as perfect as I can before welding and then start welding so that it looks the best. So giddy up, partners. I spent a bunch of time with the plasma cutter and then with a grinder, and you can see now how this is sunk in here, which is cool. So you can see like this comes up and then this comes around the side. So we're gonna weld this one to the side, but over here to be welded to the back here. But it is sunk in there a little bit better. Our gap is tiny now. I leveled this out. I actually cut this rail off. It had this thing all around the edge. I cut that off so I could sink it in there better and kind of figure out where that goes. I'm gonna have to weld that back on as well. And then got that side sunk in as well. So I was trying to figure out this like spatially in my mind, trying to figure out how this is gonna work, and I couldn't figure it out. And so I got my guys over here, you probably saw them in the time lapse come in, and they all stood around and none of them could figure out either. And I realized why after I started messing with this. I decided finally I'm just gonna start cutting and we'll see what happens. And the reason I couldn't figure out spatially is because it's bending in multiple different directions. So you can see that like bend right there. The other one didn't turn out as well just because I chopped it weird. But this is a straight line coming around here, like straight line in this plane, but it's a curved line in this plane. And then under here, it's a straight line in this plane, but curved in that plane. But this little section is curved in two planes. So it's curving out this way and curving around this way to meet this flat surface. So that was what was so confusing. This is a straight cut on a round surface. This one down here is a straight cut on a round surface, but this one is a round cut on a round surface. That's how it all matched up the best. But you can see we got tight gaps here. So I think I'm done cutting on this thing and grinding on this thing. I think that's worked. This all looks weldable now. But now I need to cut my plates that are gonna go in here for insulating. Oh, I also gotta cut that throat size bigger. So now, let's see if we can make them fit. This one goes in here, but may have to trim it a little bit, because I can't get it to push up against the wall over there. I think it's hitting the backside where I plasma cut and left a bunch of extra metal on the wall. I think that's what hit. Turns out, shocker, the original firebox is not square. So I can get this one in. I just have it propped right now, but you can see it right there. I made some little 1-inch spacers. They're gonna go, I have two just sitting at the bottom right now to keep this thing, I don't want it touching that outside wall, right? Because I want it to have an air gap. So that will space it out. You can see these two sitting down here, it's kind of dark, but that'll space it out from the wall 1 inch. I'm gonna weld some to the top as well to keep it there. So that's why I haven't shoved some back in there yet, because I'm scared if I shove it in, it's going to get stuck and I won't be able to get it out before I weld this. So I'm gonna pull this thing out and grind it, because I cannot get it past that lip, because yeah, this box, not square. Dirty. Also, if you want this shirt, this is our subscription shirt this month. God, I look good. The one you get won't be as dirty as this and sweaty, most likely. But yeah, we got subscription shirts every month. We come out with a new shirt. They're discounted, and everyone who signed up for our subscription shirts is entered in to win every month a case of ammo from Primary Arms. So, link to the description below if you want to get your subscription shirt, and you might just win a whole case of ammo. All right, I got these things hooked in. The measurements, well, the measurements are good, but the box is not square, and so everything is just kind of not square, but I think I got it good enough to work. So that is a piece I put in, that's a piece I put in, and these two pieces are in. So this thing is insulated on this side, on the bottom, and on this side. And it's got the V shape to the bottom so that all the coals and all the logs will settle right there, making our fire ignite way faster. Look at this. Cool, I've got an actual, throw some logs in, solid firebox, I think. some people like actually put insulation in the walls and in there. I didn't want to do that. It's good enough, and I don't want it to be super insulated. I just want it to be better insulated. So this will be fine. It's going to transfer heat from here to here, but it's going to be way less heat than the fire just heating this up and the outside radiating and cooking me on the outside. This is going to be awesome. I'll still have a non-insulated cooktop so I can cook bacon and eggs and whatever I want to cook up there, heat up tortillas. But man, I'm excited. This is a lot of work also. Friggin' a lot of respect for the guys who just work metal all the time. This is a ton of work, and it is dirty, hard work. So I have it set back in place. You can see our additions. That's awesome. So now the part I need to add, I need to fix this. You can see we got a little air gap in there because it's a lot lower than it was before. So I need to fill in those holes. So I came in here with a red wax crayon, drew where that is so I can see it. Now I'm gonna pull it away and I'll know where to patch, and then I'll try to make my measurement to cut up here, make that hole bigger. Here it is pulled away. You can see our cook chamber curving right there. My plan was to just cut little like triangular pieces to go in here, but then I was like, man, it'd be way easier to just cut a big flat rectangle. It'll fit perfectly in there, weld it up along those two edges, leave the top obviously, and then I'll just figure out where I want to cut up here, but make this hole a lot bigger. But totally block in that. That'll make the exit port, the throat up higher, which will help flowing better. It'll also help to not have all that heat coming out and being in direct view of the meat we're cooking. So you're supposed to have a little deflector shield right here. I cut one off the old one. The old one had one, I chopped it off. I'm just gonna reuse it. But what did I do with, there it is. So this is a little deflector shield. So our meat will be sitting up on top. It will not be in direct view of our fire, which will help it smoke without that direct heat hitting it and like making it way too hot. I'm actually really tired of grinding and plasma cutting metal. It's a lot of work. I'm just gonna make this one using magic. Ready, go. Oh, whoa, it worked. That's perfect. Ow. God, magic is hot. The GoPro ran out of batteries while I was grinding. I didn't notice, but I made that hole. And then I just put the cover on there. So the meat will all be sitting up here above the box. And this will just block, especially the meat that's right over near it. It'll block it from getting that direct view of the fire. And it'll block it from grilling. You want the meat to smoke, not grill in a smoker. So that'll just keep it from grilling, keep it to where we're getting that diffuse heat out here, but I think it's gonna work. So I did a calculation. The hole was right here before. Now it is twice as big, and it's at the top of the box. This thing did not flow very well, and I think that was partly because this hole, which is your air intake, was at about the same level right here as your air exhaust. So you want that exhaust to be higher because heat rises naturally. So it'll go up like this and exit that way, which will draft and pull air back in the intake, which is lower. When they're about the same height, we saw some smoke coming out this way. This should just make it more efficient having that up high and this right here in the middle. Should draft in, heat up, go out that way. We can have some heat coming out this way, and then some will just start going this way. I think the box is done. I think the next step is to stick it in here and start tacking it onto this. Oh, this has been a lot of work. But I'm really pumped about this. I think it's gonna work way better. If it doesn't, I'll cry a lot. Okay, tack there, tack there. It's pretty heavy. I don't know if it's gonna work. Let's let her down and see if it stays. Oh yeah, she's floating. Okay, and we got nice tight seams here, here, there. That's gonna be some tricky welding, but we will be able to weld from the inside here too. So I can just come in here and weld all down there. All super tight. I asked Mikey to do all the welding that will be visible from the outside because Mikey's a better welder than I am. Huh?
What?
What?
Huh?
He's
I'm done.
You're done?
No, like I'm done. Like I'm
Oh, you're done.
well done.
Yeah, I think so. We probably should pull you out before you get too hot. You're gonna be so gross.
Yeah.
He's sitting in grease and soot. That's all there is. Oh, nasty. Oh, you touched me. That's what your whole body's gonna look like. I thought he could just lean in there and weld, but he went for it. We should have got a bigger smoker. We could both be in there welding.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get him a fan so he's got some ventilation going through here, but looks good. He's a real go-getter, that Mikey. So I'm gonna go get him a fan. Is that better? At least blow the fumes away from you. I've been cutting this thing to fit because it needed to be smaller since we shoved that in there. And then I also have that shelf here. I'm cutting it to fit because it mounted here, but we dropped the thing down 8 inches, so now it needs to mount up here. And I'm gonna space it out a little bit so it matches with that one a little better. So while Mikey's welding that, I've been chopping metal. God, you got the ground dirty even. Oh, your shoes are toast.
No.
Yeah, your
shoes.
shoes are done, the Texas shoes. I'm gonna have to buy me a new Wrangler welding shirt. You got our Pearl Snap welding shirt all dirty.
Oh, snap! I didn't even look at that.
Dude, it's like wet grease in there. He did this before I knew what he was doing. He just climbed in.
Yeah.
But it's welded. Good job.
Job's done.
Is it all done? Sweet. All right, I'm gonna weld on these on the side and this on the top. And then I think, I need to weld these little side pieces in too. Although it's probably pretty secure without it, but it would make me feel a little better. And then we're done. What do you think?
Did you add the...
Yeah, I put all that.
too?
Yeah, so I put that ramp in there, and then I put walls in here too, so it's got double walls to kind of
It
insulate.
should hopefully push more heat out, right? Because he was saying it wasn't getting like hot enough.
That's the goal, yeah.
The hole was too small and too far away.
So the area of the hole is twice as big as it was before, and the box is touching it. The box is actually inside it a little bit. And we have,
I didn't even notice that.
yeah, it was hanging another 8 inches back and there was just a gap. And it's insulated, partially insulated now.
Okay.
I think,
Yeah, let's freaking...
let's make some brisket. All right.
It can't be worse than the last
It
one.
can't, It could be worse. That was not bad. No, it was bad. Yeah, it can't be worse. That was, at the end of that one, I mean, I still don't, I'm not a pro, and I was definitely not a pro then, but at the end of that one, I was like, I feel like I didn't keep it hot enough. This should really help, because every time I would leave it for any amount of time, the temperature would just drop if I wasn't constantly throwing wood in there. So this should make it easier to keep that temp hot. Jeremy did say this, or actually Jeremy and Chud, Jeremy Yoder and Chud both said that I need a 6-inch stack. That I think is a 4-inch stack. So they said I should get a bigger stack there so more air could flow, just to make this thing flow better. But that seemed like a lot of work, and I don't have any 6-inch pipe laying around. So I'm gonna try this first. If it still is hard to get hot, that's the next thing we will change. Basically, all you gotta do, guys, is go on Marketplace, buy a smoker someone made in the backyard, and then spend days fixing it. That's it.
Have a shop where you know how to weld. You've got scrap metal around. Cut it open. Simple as that.
Easy as that, guys. Anybody could do this. And Mikey crawled in here, and look how wet and greasy it is.
You were inside. Was it necessary, or did you just want to get in?
You know, I think I could have.
You could have made an argument that you didn't have to climb.
Yeah, I thought he was just gonna do that, but he went for it.
I mean,
Either way, though, hey, I like A for effort, you know. But I think we're done. Next video, we light it on fire, and see, we need to like clean up a couple things, paint it up, but overall, I think it's gonna be way better. They also gave me an idea for making it to where this door can like sit at certain levels instead of just floating. I need to do that eventually, but everything I wanted to get done right now is done. So anyway, hope you guys liked a little cutting and welding on a big old smoker video, and that just means more food to come. And also, thank you guys who came out to the barbecue fest, the meat fest. It was super fun, and it made us realize we need to do more of that kind of stuff. We're thinking a beer fest, we're thinking chili fest. We're just gonna start doing a bunch of cool events out there because it's really fun for us to get to go and do these events and be a part of them. And if you guys like it too, we'll bring it on. Let's freaking do it. Thanks for watching. Get you a subscription shirt. I love you. I'll see you next time. I'm on fire! Oh.
Hey, what camera is that? Number...
Shut up! Don't tell Mare.